Hello there. In this video I'm just going to give you an overview of leases and licenses in Irish property law. It's important to understand and know the difference between a lease and a license. Firstly, let's just take a look at a lease or a tenancy. There are basically two broad categories of lease. One is a tenancy for a fixed term and two is a periodic tenancy. A tenancy for a fixed term can be for any term, and once the term ends, the landlord is entitled to possession. So the term could be for 12 months, 4 years and 9 months, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 35 years. That's the term, and the lease runs until the end of the term. On the other hand, you have a periodic tenancy. It runs for a period of time such as a month, a week, a year, or whatever. Once the term ends, it automatically renews until the landlord issues a notice to quit. There's another thing that you need to be very much aware of, particularly if you're a commercial landlord, and indeed if you're a potential somebody setting up a business, and that is a temporary convenience letting. These lettings are lettings of premises which fall outside the protection of landlord and tenant legislation. That is, provided that they're genuinely for the temporary convenience of the landlord. The nature of the temporary convenience should be set out in the letting agreement, and it must be for the bona fide temporary necessity of the landlord. Let's just take a look then at a lease versus a license. A license, unlike a lease, does not transfer any interest or estate in the land to the licensee. It is a mere permission to use the premises. A lease confers statutory rights and protections, whereas a license does not confer any statutory rights or protections. If there is a dispute about a license or a lease, in other words, a tenant may claim that no, they don't have a license, they in fact have a lease, then a court will look at the relationship between the parties objectively. In other words, not just what a document or letting agreement may state, but the court will look at all of the factors and circumstances. And if the court is satisfied that the agreement has all the characteristics of a tenancy, then it will decide that the agreement is in fact a lease and the tenant will be granted a lease by the court. There are a number of different types of license. The most common one is a bare license. A bare license is basically a mere personal permission. Then there's a license coupled with an interest. It can be transferred to somebody else, to a third party. There's also a contractual license. This license is created by a contract, and the power to revoke the license will be contained in the terms of the contract. Whereas number one there, a bare license, the power to revoke that is simply by the licensor saying, I revoke my personal permission. There's another one there, it's an estoppel license. This will arise where a person who holds a license relating to land sells an interest in that land to a third party who acts in good faith. The person who sells the land then cannot deny the existence of the license attached to the land to that third party. So he would be stopped from allowing the third party to have the benefit of the license. The characteristics of a license then, well, the main characteristic is that there is no interest in the land. It may be revocable. The licensee does not enjoy exclusive possession of the land. The licensee occupies the land with the consent of the licensor, and the rights in the license are personal to the licensee. If you're looking for more free information about this topic or any topic to do with property or indeed law in Ireland, I have a couple of websites, smallbusinesslawireland.com or businessandlegal.ie, where you'll get plenty of free information about this and other legal topics. My name is Gorry. I'm a solicitor in Enfield in County Meath, and I hope you find this video useful.